Welcome to Series 3 on Nail Theory, Nail Anatomy and Physiology for Trieu Nails London. So in this series of videos, we'll definitely be taking a more technical view of things, and this is what the series will cover: structure of the nail, bones and muscular systems, skin types and skin structure, and the lymphatic system. This series is definitely more technical whilst it is short, so I'll break down the videos into 4 parts as follows. And again, you'll need to familiarize yourself with strange terms that are difficult to pronounce, which I'll also spell out for you. So let's get started. So nail itself is made of keratin. Keratin is found in nails, hair, and skin, and the nails are the hardest form of keratin, keratin being a protein. You can freeze the video to see exactly the labels of the fingernail and the nail itself, but I'll go through each one of these. So we'll start with the nail itself, and we'll start from the top. So the top is a free edge. This is what you file shape. You then have the whole nail itself, which is the nail plate. The side of the nail, which is known as a nail fold, where it's folded in. And then going down to the bottom, we have, just focusing on the top part of the nail, we have the true cuticle and the eponychium, which we'll come on to soon, which is also referred as a cuticle, but it's just below it. Now going underneath the nail, we've got the top of the pink part of your nail bed, which is the hyponychium. You then have the nail grooves, which is also the side, and then you have the nail bed, which is the pink part of your fingernails, where the actual nail plate sits on, and underneath you have the matrix, which is the root, which is not visible. You then have this small white, almost crest moon, which is called the lunula. So I'll go over what each of those are, how to pronounce some of them, and what they do. So the nail plate is translucent, allowing the pink nail bed underneath to show through. The nail plate has no nerve endings or blood vessels, and therefore when we damage our nails, it is the nail bed that contains all the nerves and sends signals to our brain for the sore. We always want to protect our nail plate because it provides a protective function for the nail bed and the deeper layers of the skin. So what happens is that cells divide in the matrix and the nails grow forward over the nail bed, guided by nail grooves, until it reaches the end of the finger where it becomes the free edge. As nails emerge from the matrix, the translucent cells are plump and soft, but they get harder as they move towards the free edge. So around here, your nails will be soft, and then by the time it comes out and it gets to here, it will harden. So this part is usually harder than the rest. Fingernails grow approximately twice the speed of toenails. That's a good point to remember. And it takes about 6 months for the fingernail to grow from the cuticle to the free edge. There are many factors that can affect the nail externally, such as nail varnish applied incorrectly, detergents, bleaching cleaning products, overuse of nails without protection, that is gloves, incorrect filing techniques, and damage through e-files or nail drills and extensions. Sometimes there are internal causes that can cause weak or damaged nails, so that's glandular fever, heart disease, iron deficiencies, disorders of the nervous system, circulation problems, long-term illness and medication. So let's go through the diagram of what each of them means. You can always refer back to this diagram and pause it, copy down what you need to. Now I'll go through each one of these. So first you have the nail plate. Its function is to protect the living nail bed of the fingers. It's made up of keratinized translucent cells that form the hard surface, and it's attached to the nail bed as a protection to the deeper layers of the skin. The main key word here is protection. Then on the side of the nail plate is grooved by longitudinal ridges and furrows, which help keep it in place. In normal health, the nail plates grow curves in 2 directions. transversely, so side to side. So on this diagram, it'll curve this way like so. And then also horizontally, which is longitudinally, which is from the base of the nail to the free edge. So on the diagram, it will look like so. It will curve from here to here, eventually curving like so. So that's transversely and longitudinally. You then have the nail bed, and that's its function to first to nourish and then to protect. So the nail bed lies underneath the nail plate and is the portion of skin that is made of dermi and epidermy layers of the skin. This is made up of, let's say, dermi and epidermy layers of skin. It plays an important part in healthy nail growth as it is supplied with blood vessels that are needed to nourish the nail. It helps nourish the nail. It has a pattern of grooves and furrows corresponding to those of the underside of the plate, interlocking the nail plate in place. So it has grooves and furrows that match the bottom of the nail plate. You then have the nail wall. Its function is to cushion and protect the nail plate and grooves from damage. The nail walls are basically the fold, so on the diagram it will be the sides here. So you've got the nail fold. And they're the folds of the skin that overlap the side of the nail and are there to protect the nail and cushion them from external damage. You then have the nail grooves, which might be difficult to see in your nails. Their function is to guide and keep the nail plate growing forward. So nail grooves are furrows that run alongside the nail plate, and these are there to guide the nail along the nail bed in an upward direction. You then have the matrix, which is almost like the root of the nail, and its function is to produce new nails. Of course, if I'm going too fast on the slide for you, pause, take a moment to digest, and then continue. So the matrix is responsible for growth of the nail. It contains nerve endings, blood, and lymph vessels. So it produces the nail cells through a process of keratinization, which turns plump cells into harder, flatter cells that form the nail plate. And for healthy growth of nails, it's important that the matrix is looked after properly. You then have the lunula, so that small little half moon at the bottom of your nail bed. Most people refer to this as the half moon. It's the light color which is formed by the white plump cells leaving the nail plate and then harden to become flattened, transparent cells that are the nail plates. You then have the cuticle. So it has a very important function in order to protect the nail. So it's essential that great care is taken when working on the cuticles. The cuticle should be removed with care, so it's important that not too much is removed, as it will cause the protection to be taken away and the nail cuticles can actually go back thicker and harder. The cuticle is then broken down into two sections. So you've got the eponychium, which protects the matrix from infection. It's visible on the nail plate and it has a function of sealing the nail bed from infections. So it's visible on the nail plate. Function of sealing the nail bed from infections. You then have the perionychium. So it protects the nail from infections. So this portion of the skin is surrounding the whole nail. It's all the skin around the nail. It has the function of sealing the side of the nail and protecting it from infection. You then have the hyponychium, so it's to protect the nail bed from infection. It's part of the epidermis under the free edge of the nail and the continuation of the cuticle. You then have the free edge, which is the topmost part of the nail. It's there to protect the fingertip and the hyponychium. It's basically an extension of the nail plate that is no longer attached to the nail bed. and can be in different lengths. So that's a quick rundown of all the main parts of a fingernail. I'll quickly write out for you guys how to pronounce some of the terms. So lunula, I can write that out for you. So something like lun, then u, then la. Each goes quite easy to pronounce. We have the eponychium, so I'll write that. Epo, nick, e. And also have the peronychium. So it's almost the same as eponychium, just pero in front of it. Then have the hyponychium. So it's just hypo and then nychium as mentioned before. And they are the main tricky words for this section. Just going to check over the others, and that should be fine. So make sure you know this diagram, you know the different parts of the nail plate and then the nail bed and what their functions are. So that's a very quick overview of structure of the nail. In the next video, we'll be going over bones and muscular systems. It will get slightly more technical, so please be aware. Hope you found this video useful.